Hi, it's Paula from On a String, and I'm here for my monthly design on the fly session or Facebook Live session. And this one is going to be about design on the fly with the colour green as the theme. So thanks to Lynda from Banjo's Bead House. She's the supplier of this lovely package that I'm going to unbox shortly. And it's a green themed day today. So I don't know what the beads are going to be, and it's going to be great fun designing on the fly and using green as the theme. And I think the challenge for me will be, how do I incorporate green and complementary colours? So I hope that's what's going to come out of today. This session will probably go for around an hour or so, maybe a little bit longer, depends on how creative I feel. I will do my best to keep up with comments and questions as they come on. Hi Lavinia, hi Lorraine, nice to see you both here. By all means, ask me questions along the way and we'll see how we go from there. So I'm going to flip the camera over and we will see what the unboxing actually happens. So hold with me for 1 second while I just do this very magic trick and flip over. Wow, there we go. Okay, here I am all prepared with my design on the fly package. So Lynda actually sent this to me in the mail. A little note on there. Hi Paula, we are looking forward to seeing what you create with this challenge box. Regards, Lynda and Denise. Good morning, Lorraine. Hi Jackie. Now, if you haven't been to Banjo's Bead House, they're actually up in Oatlands in New South Wales. I've been up there a couple of times. Great shop, really great supply of beads, and Lynda has supported me greatly over the years with creating kits for when I've done different projects as well. So thanks Lynda and thanks Denise. And you can see here is the little package for design on the fly. So let's get to and open up what actually is inside. So you can see here, I haven't had a sneaky look. I have no idea what I'm going to find in here. So hopefully it is a really good surprise. She's themed it with green. Oh, and she's given me a list of what's actually there as well. So we'll have a look at that in a moment as well. So I've got here this lovely little package of green beads. And look, she's themed it all with green tissue paper as well. Wow, some fun beads in here. Okay, so let's have a look and see what's on my green themed. Move that out of the way so we look at it one at a time. So look at these gorgeous cabs. They're a peacock sort of colour. Straight away, they're a pair of earrings as soon as I look at them. So I've already got an idea in mind for how I'll actually capture those earrings. Hi Debbie, nice to see you here too. Are you in Australia or in the UK still? So thanks for joining in. So some peacock little cabs, and they're about a 20 mil cab, I think. What has she put on here? On my list, they are 2 20 mil peacock cabs. So, good guess, Paula. Oh, look, she's included some of my favourites, some demi-round. So, some demi-round, and that looks like that sort of green. What colour is she? It's great. She's got a list here for me. This is fantastic. So, this is called the High Metallic Dragonfly. So, gorgeous green. And I know straight away I'm going to use these two together. Haven't even looked at everything yet, but... Okay, some turquoisey colour. So there's a petal bead here. So those petal beads are, what has she called them? They're called the, not 2-hole, 7 mil, no. I'll have to look and see what closely that is, but some petal beads. So they're really great for doing as an earring sort of decor decoration. Here's some little 2-hole beads as well. Oh, there you go. 2-hole groovy tiles. Groovy tiles. So is that groovy because they look groovy or they've got a groove? But, oh, a brass ring. Wow. Okay. This is interesting. For someone with a small hand, not me, I can't get that on. It could be a bracelet base, but yeah, I won't because I've got a wide hand. But beautiful for a nice big brick stitch component around that, I think. There's a smaller metallic ring too, so that would be actually really interesting if I could do something like that and do brick stitch on one and brick stitch on the inside of the other and join the two together. Let's see how that actually goes. That could be an idea. Paisley Duo Tropical Rainforest. Oh, paisley beads, these are really cool. They make a really nice earring frame as well. I love those. Oh, here's a nice little mix. So this is all sort of vintage check bead mix. So we've got some green sort of longer drops, really good. Oh, hi Shelley, nice to see you here too. You're not late, I've only just started, it's all good. Some little crystal, some fire polish beads in here as well, and some drops. So really good fringing sort of components, I think, with those square drop beads. What are these ones? These are called mini gem duos in tropical rainforest. So they, of course, match really nicely with those paisley beads. So there's probably a design with those two in there. Oh, look at this, gorgeous. Two 12mm Swarovski emerald green, gorgeous emerald green. I mean, these are going to go really nicely with this as well. So that could be a double drop earring with those. Teacup beads in turquoise. These are another really good bead. I love the teacup beads to go with bead embroidery particularly. So we'll keep those in mind. We've got some little darkish green 4mm pearls here as well. There is a 2-hole bead or single hole bead lentil, and that's like an olive sort of colour. And then there's another 2-hole bead in that sort of turquoisey lentil bead as well. There's some 6mm beautiful matte sort of emerald green colour bead too. So that's a really interesting colour. And some turquoise little 6mm 2-hole cabs. So I know what they are. I use those regularly. And Lynda, of course, has included a green tassel for me as well. So this is super exciting. As I said, there's a great list there that she's put together from Lynda at Banjo's Bead House up in New South Wales. Okay, so now comes the fun part. What am I actually going to put with these? Straight away, when I look at these peacock cabs here, and they're just one of those little glass domed cabs with the image on the back. That to me is going to be a really nice bead embroidery piece. So that's exactly what I'll use those two peacock pieces for. And I think they're going to go really nicely with the 12mm Swarovski crystal. Look at that, like a really nice drop to go at the bottom of those. I think they look great together. I think I'll put some of these demi rounds in with that as well. Possibly that darker pearl maybe. What else have I got here? This one's probably a bit big to go. I mean, the colour looks great, but I think it's probably a little big. But it might be a nice central drop bead to go off there. So I think that's probably what I'll do. I'll start with this. Okay, so I'll put them aside. I love, as if you've seen me work with demi rounds before, you'll know how much I love them. They're one of the, I think one of the best beads for filling in little gaps, for creating fringes, all that sort of stuff. So I think they're a really cool bead to utilise in lots of ways. And with this, I think I'm actually going to put purple. Don't die of shock when you hear me say purple. I think I'll put purple with this, and I need a size 8 bead to go with that. So that's sort of the colour maybe I think I'll put with that. Maybe, no, it's too much purple for me. I think I'll go silver. Yeah, that's much more my taste. I don't love purple. I do try and utilise it because I know lots of people love it. It's not really one of my favourites. I'm going to pull out some Fireline. So this is the 6 pound smoke Fireline. And I'm going to just use my standard trusty size 10 needle over here. I pretty much always use tulip needles. I know they're more expensive, but they tend to last me a lot longer. And I am pretty rough on needles. So if I can get, a good month's worth out of a project or two, then that's pretty good for me to get that much time out of a needle. So I'm just threading on about 1.5 meters. I always start with about 1.5 meters. I'm more than happy to add thread in, because I can't bear the tangles that come from having too long a thread. Okay, so I've got some size 8 beads here, and these are, they're from Cranberry. They're the Czech Silver Miyuki coated beads. This is my favourite silver colour to use in lots of different projects. So when this is a 20mm, with this particular pattern that I'm going to do, 20 mil bead means that I'm going to need 20 of what I call dog bones around the outside. So I'm going to pick up a size 8 bead and a size 8 demi-round bead. And if you've done my Treble Brilliance class or my Sparkly Studs class, you will have seen this technique before. And what I do is I create these little dog bones, and I think it was Lavinia who called these dog bones, out of the size 8 beads and 2 demi-rounds. So I've just gone up and twisted one to come through the top, one through the bottom. Then I'm going to ladder stitch another size 8 bead onto that existing first bead. So you can see like that. I'm going to come back through that second size 8 bead, pick up another demi-round, go back down and through. And because this is design on the fly, it's not one I've prepared earlier. You're going to have to watch me actually create this. But I'm going to create this little strip of dog bones. So I'll repeat this over and over. So please come at me with questions at this time, because otherwise you just got to listen to me talk through these steps. So anyone got any questions or other ideas of what I can make out of the design on the fly? There were some teacup beads, some groovy tiles, some large petals in the sort of turquoise tones. There's a green tassel. There's 2 really large brass rings, and I think I've got an idea about them for some brick stitch, so we'll see how that comes together. There's some lentil beads, so both single hole and double hole lentil beads. And what else is there? Oh, the 6 mil darkish green round beads. I've got an idea for those. Beautiful bead for stringing as well, so yeah, definitely we'll have some fun with them. And for this, as I said, I'm using the demi-round size 8 in the High Dragonfly, I think it was called. I've added some silver, and we're going to create a capture around this beautiful peacock cab. So creating my little strip of dog bones. You may hear my dog actually bark at some point there. She keeps bringing me her teddy to play with, but I'm not playing teddies right now. We're beading. So keep adding these in. And what is everybody else up to today or tonight? Because I realise both Shelley and Debbie are watching from overseas. So thank you so much for giving up your time. I know for Shelley it's Friday night in the US, and I think it's probably Saturday night, is it in the UK, Debbie, or am I Friday night? I'm probably lost one way or the other. But thanks both for joining me from overseas. It's great to have your support for this as well. And this design on the fly session, it's one of my favourites to actually do, because I don't know what I'm going to make until I see the beads, which is always a great way when you've got some space to be creative with what's actually in the package. And thanks again, as I said, to Lynda from Banjo's Bead House for curating these. You're doing long fringe earrings, Lavinia. Fantastic. What stitch is it that you're actually doing your fringe and a top? I'm assuming you've got a beaded top to go with the fringe earrings. What sort of fringe are you actually doing, Shelley? Just after 8. Oh, it's perfect time for watching beadwork. Absolutely, Shelley, it is. Just after 8 p.m. It's just after 11 a.m. here in Melbourne, Australia, and it's a bit of a cold and wintry day today, so perfect day for being indoors beading. Friday night, 2 a.m. Oh, my goodness, Debbie, that's amazing that you've joined me. Thank you. And your house sitting in Ripon in the UK. Wow. Well, thanks. I really appreciate it, because that's a late night for you to be joining me now. Thank you. Now, how many dog bones have I got here? I'm talking away. Let's see how many I've actually created. As I said, I need 20 to do this. And the reason I know I need 20, every time I do this technique, the size of the cabochon determines the number of dog bones that you need. So this is a 20 mil, so I'll know I'll need 20. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, a little way to go. I know that because I've done this tutorial several times with different cabs, whether it's been, say, a 27 mil crystal, whether it's been with a 10 mil Rivoli, whatever size cab you're starting with, I need to have the exact number of dog bones in this little stitch to capture that. And you'll be amazed when you see how it actually comes together if you've not seen this technique before. So keep going. And again, I love using a size 8 bead where I can, particularly in the base or foundation of beadwork, because it's a bit of a larger bead, so you get to create your piece quicker than if you're using a size 11. The big holes mean that you've got lots of opportunities for thread paths to go through as well. And yeah, great foundation bead for the start of a project because your base forms much quicker than if you're using a size 11 bead. So keep that tip in mind when you're thinking about bead sizes. I know for me, I always tend to buy the 8, the 11 and the 15 in the same colorway wherever I can so that they're really interchangeable. But my tip for these types of projects is where you've got a size 8, use it for your starting bead. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. So 3 more to go. And then once I've got my 20 little dog bones in a row, I'm actually going to join those into a ring. And that ring will form a really nice little foundation for my cabochon. And it looks really messy right now. It looks a bit like a caterpillar. You know, it's sort of wonky looking, this little piece of beadwork. But the way it comes together is a really cool technique. And very, very quickly, I'll be able to show you that. Hi, Marilyn. Nice to have you here as well. Okay, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19. One more makes 20. Now, as I said, this is a bit loosey-goosey right now, but it will tighten up very, very quickly. So, okay. Now I've got these, my little strip there of dog bones. I'm just going to carefully fold that over so I'm still got all the beads going in the same direction. And I'm just going to loop back through that very first size 8 bead that I added, like that. Go back through the last size 8 bead. I'll just hold that tail out of the way for the minute. And loop those around so they join together. And just repeat that stitch again so that it's nice and firm. And now I've got this nice little crown of dog bones, I suppose you could say, like that. So it is loose, but what we're going to do is I'm going to then find a size 15 bead, and I wonder to put, I put a little bit of gold. Yeah, I might put a bit of gold with that. So I've got some size 15 gold beads here. So this is the back side of the piece, and what I'm going to do is come out of a demi-round bead here. And I'm just going to run through 2 demi-rounds and pick up one size 15 and do 2 demi-rounds, one size 15. And this is just going to tighten up the back part of our earring base and make a really nice flat pocket, I suppose you'd call it, base to put this little cab in. So I'll keep adding one size 15. The trick with this technique is to make sure that you are using an even number of beads for your dog bone strip. Even is always better when you're trying to you know, do peyote or brick stitch or anything that is added onto netting, anything that you're adding onto this piece. You can do an odd number, but it makes it really hard for maths. So try and make it an even number if you can. Nearly back to the start. Yep, one more in there. And when I pull that tight, the tails are annoying, but I'll cut that off shortly. I've just tangled that through there. When I pull that tight, I've got this really nice ring now. Hi, Alex. Nice to see you here. There you go. So now I've got this really nice cab base, and when I pop my cab on there, look at that. It's perfect. It actually fits particularly well, just sitting over the top of the cab. So if I put it on the back, you'll be able to see what that looks like as well from the back. and pop it on like that. Now, the next step I do with these is I need a 3mm. You can use a 3mm pearl or a 3mm crystal. Lynda's not giving me any 3mm, so let's grab one out. And I think maybe I might pop a gold 3mm pearl on this. So the next step we're going to do is bring our needle all the way through to the other side of the work. And now I've got these lovely, nice big gaps here that I want to fill. So what I'm going to do is pop a 3mm pearl in between each of those demi-round beads. And these are going to form a beautiful edge for this cab, and they're going to sit really nicely just on the outside of the cab. Now, as I said, this technique, you can utilize this with any size cab that you like, remembering to keep an even number of dog bones around your piece. And some of you, I think some of my watchers here today, they've done this technique with me before. Have you utilized this in anything else? I tend to go back to this regularly for a capture technique. I love it. So let me know in the comments if you've actually used this before and what your thoughts are about the dog bone technique. Demi rounds and size 8 beads, so really great way to build a cabochon base. Crystals, flat cabs, you know, pearl cabs, whatever, can utilize this technique in creating that piece. Hi Glenda, nice to see you here as well. Now, if of course you can't stay for this whole session today, that's perfectly fine. We've all got lives to live, but this will be available on YouTube after today, and still lives on Facebook as well, but the session will be on YouTube as well. So if you ever want to go back and watch this technique again, you can go and do that. My YouTube channel is On a String AU, so if you haven't already subscribed to that, by all means have a look at that. And all of my past Facebook Live sessions are on there, and a couple of other little sort of technique videos that I've done as well. So if you haven't subscribed to On a String on YouTube, you can do that to catch up at this session at a later date if you have to leave. Now, this is looking really big and loose at the moment, but it will all come together beautifully. Trust me, she says. It does happen. So anyone else? Lavinia's doing some fringe stitch beading. What about you, Glenda? Are you beading at the moment? Or Alex or Lorraine? Or you're just sitting back enjoying watching me bead? Let me know what you're up to. Jackie, what about you? And Shelley, are you beading? And let me know if my hands go off camera as well. I do have a tendency to do that. So make sure you tell me if you can't see what I'm doing. You can see here I'm continuing adding my 3mm pearls. Now, because I've got 20 gaps around my piece, because remember we started with 20, I need to add 20 3mm pearls as well to that. So this works equally well with 3mm bicones as well. So you can utilize either pearl or bicone, depends on what you've got and what sort of look you want. Watching and observing. Good on you, Jackie, and good on you, Shelley. You're watching me work fast. Or I've been known, I think, ever since I started beading, as a speedy beater. I've always been really quick at it, Shelley. It's I've been known for it for many, many years as being speedy. And I think last night I made about 7 pairs of earrings last night. I need some class samples to take over to a workshop that I'm teaching tomorrow. I thought, gosh, I better get those done. So yeah, last night I made 7 pairs of earrings. Okay. You're just chilling. Oh, good on you, Lorraine. I'm glad someone's just chilling, relaxing. Now, I'm going to get rid of that tail thread because that's annoying me now. And I'll just cut that off. So you can see there now I've got my 20 3mm pearls. I pop my cab back on there. How gorgeous does that look? We've got a little bit of silver, we've got the gold, and we've got that purpley green. The next colour I'm going to add is I'm going to add some silver. Maybe a peacocky sort of colour might be better. I need some size, that's perfect, that one. Some size 15s I need next. So this colour I've got is called Duracoat Seafoam. And now these size 15s, I'm going to pick up and add, get the scissors out of the way, 3 size 15s in, I've got to come out of a demi round first, like that. Pick up 3 size 15s, and I'm going to go through the next demi round. Now, what happens is that little strip of 3, I want that to sit on the inside of my work, like that. Can you see that there? Because that's going to form a really cool net to put over the edge of our cabochon. So I continue that all the way around. So 3 size 15 beads on the inside of the beadwork, like that. And if you're interested in seeing some more of this technique, there are a couple of tutorials that I have that feature this design. So there's a sparkly studs tutorial where you can actually create a pair of stud earrings with this technique. And there's also the treble brilliance tutorial as well. Both of those are available either on my Etsy store or my website. If you go to Etsy, there's a 30% off sale on at the moment. So by all means, take advantage of that if you haven't already seen these tutorials before. So there's the sparkly studs or the treble brilliance, and they both have different ways that I use this technique to create pieces. So by all means, have a look at them if you are so inclined. So I'll keep going around with my size 15 little 3 picot beads that I'm putting in place, and in a couple of minutes we're going to see how this all comes together really, really well. Great technique, so the dog bone technique. And I think that's just twisted in there. If you're not a subscriber to the Honest String newsletter, please make sure you go and sign up. My newsletter actually went out yesterday. I'd only generally send about one a month. I just don't have time to do any more than that. Plus, I don't like to be spammed, so I don't like to spam people. But it's usually where I'll have a link to either my current blog or YouTube video, bit of what's new, you know, what I've been working on in terms of new designs. My teaching schedule is generally listed as well. So by all means, check out the Honest String newsletter if you haven't already signed up to that. And I think I announced in there, and Joe announced yesterday as well, I'm doing my debut teaching at Cranberry Beads here in Melbourne. So I've known Joe for many, many years, but I'm actually teaching for the first time at her store on the 17th of June. So if you haven't done my carousel pendant, come along to that at Joe's shop. And of course, being the bead shop, you can actually pick all of your beads then and there. You don't need kits for that particular workshop, but Joe has all of the supplies that you will need. So the carousel pendant at Cranberry on Saturday, the 17th of June. Okay, now what I'm going to do, this is my last lot of 3. I'm going to come up through the very first center bead on that first picot there as well. Now, this looks really messy right now. You can see it looks loose and it's not particularly tight, but very, very soon it's going to look amazing. So what I'll do now is I'm going to pop that cabochon in the center, and now I need a size 11 bead, and I'm going to use a silver one now. So again, I've gone back to the Miyuki CZ silver, and I'm just going to come up through each picot bead. So there's the first one, like that. So I'm holding that cab in place, And I'll generally do 2 rows of size 11s here. Depends on how big the cab is. Sometimes I can get away with 1 row. This one will definitely need 2 so that it holds it in nice and securely. It might be that I do a row of size 15s next, maybe. We'll see as we go around. Okay. Now I can hold that cab in. So I'm just using my thumb to hold that in place. It's going to move around until we get right to the end, so you don't have to bead with that in place, but at least you get a good feel of the beadwork, where to put your needle, etc., just by holding it in. And I'll keep going around. These are going to be gorgeous earrings when they're finished. Absolutely beautiful. So peacock stunners, I think these might have to be called, with that nice little, see how my little pearls are now popping out of the edge there? You can just see the demi-round bead as well. I've forgotten all about demi-rounds, haven't I? I haven't talked about them for at least 5 minutes. But they have been a really good foundation bead for this piece, along with the size 8 beads. So keep adding that in. I'm just going to pop that out for a second. So if I pull that tight, you can see how that's just sort of drawn that even closer, that little, and made that nice little pocket for me to add the beads into. So I'll keep adding my size 11 beads all the way around. And then I think I'll probably do, as I said, that 12mm Rivoli, that may be a drop bead, maybe, I don't know. Let me have a think about what I'm going to do with that next. Any other suggestions from anybody about what to do with the other pieces? As I said, I think I'll do a bit of a brick stitch theme with the big rings, and I'm just sort of thinking how I might join the two together. I think the vintage check beads might make a nice dangle as well, some sort of drop feature. The tassel, I'll probably need to decorate the tassel, and that could be with some teacup beads and some of the other tile beads potentially as a decorated tassel. Yeah, it's great fun seeing all of these things come together, particularly when I don't know what it is going to be in the design on the fly. So now I've just pulled that tightly, and you can see here, I'll just grab my pointer. See, I've got this nice little pocket edge here. So that's going to just pop my cab in there. Let's hope I haven't pulled it too tightly. I'll just loosen that a bit. Pop the cab in there like that. Now, when I pull that tight, look at that. I've now got this lovely cab captured. I've got my nice little 3mm pearl edge all the way around. I've got the lovely little silver and size 15 beads, and it does need another bead on the top as well to hold that in. I've used those size 15s as a lovely picot edge, and I'm just going to add one more row of size 15s, and I'm going to do gold this time. Or maybe, no, I think I'll do 11s actually. I'm going to add one more row, so where's some gold ones? This is how I get very messy beading very, very quickly. And now I'm just going to do some peyote, just go through all those size 11s. Just by adding in one more, and that's just going to peyote over the edge. Is 11 going to be okay? Yeah. I think the 15 would be too small. And now when you look at the back, I've got this lovely captured at the back as well. I can fill in the back of these. If you're doing this on a crystal, the crystal will poke through, but you can fill in the back of these as well with this technique. So just by reversing over and doing some sort of netting and peyote around the edge, you can see there how that that peyote edge is now coming up over the top of that lovely cab. Keep adding those on. Oh, Alex, I've just saw your comment. Yes, your dog bone baptism was definitely the treble brilliance, wasn't it? So great name for this particular technique. Creating little dog bones to make the foundation for this piece. And keep going around. Make sure I go through the right one, through the silver, and step up. Okay, now have a look at that. My little cab is captured firmly inside that piece. It's got, so the 2 rows of size 11 peyote beads. It's got the nice little 3mm pearls around the edge. It's got the little size 15 picots in there as well. And I've now captured that lovely from this into this. So amazing how quickly that technique actually comes together. I'm going to just leave that thread on there for now because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to finish that bit yet, but I'm going to leave that thread on there because I've got the option of adding these little green crystals, you know, potentially at the bottom to drop that, but I'm not sure if that's going to be too much. The other thing is I can actually do that technique with these beads and create a smaller drop piece out of that. But I'll have a think about what I'm going to do next because maybe that might actually be just enough to have that finished as an earring. It may not need an actual drop on it. And if that's the case, then I need to just create a loop at the top. And I think the top of which way is the top? Which way does an earring feather go? Does the feather go that way? Or does the feather go that way? Which way? Tell me which way you think the feathers go. Do the feathers go like that? Yeah, maybe they do. Okay, so, oh, good. I'm glad you've got something new to work on this weekend, Shelley. I love it when people take these techniques and make them their own. So as I said, this the first way, you think that way, Glenda. I think that way. That's like the feathers of the peacock tail are going like that, correct? So what I'm going to do is come to what is near enough the top of this cab, and I'm just going to make a little loop at the top here by coming through one of those demi-round beads like that. Yep, that's the top. And I'm going to make a little loop. So the way I like to do these little loops is I'm going to add one size 11 bead and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 size 15 beads. I don't know why I do 7. I just like that odd number. Go back through the size 11 bead, come back through that demi round again, and now I've just created this nice little loop on the top of that earring there. So I'm going to just go back through that whole thread path again. So back through the 11, back through all 7 of those size 15 beads. Hi Marilyn, nice to have you here as well. Go back through that demi round again too. Okay, and then I'm just going to thread that, knot that off by coming through that thread bridge and doing a couple of half hitch knots. And then finishing that thread off with my trusty scissors here, thread burner or scissors, whatever I can usually get my hands on. I don't think I need a thread burner there, Paula, don't be lazy. And I'll just get rid of that thread there. Okay. So there we go. I'll just poke a little hole. I like to round out that hole by just putting my awl through that. So there you go. There is one earring completed using the dog bone method around the 20mm cab. So there we go. Design on the fly. One project done. All right, for the ladies who've joined me a bit later, let's do a bit of a recap on some of the beads that I got in this project while I clean up. So Lynda from Banjo's Bead House has been my supplier of beads for this particular session. And Lynda, I tasked her with, okay, give me some green beads to actually utilise today. So she's come up with some green bead themes for me. And I think the challenge with some of these green beads is how am I going to utilise them in, and with other colours as well. So one of them that she's given me is these high metallic dragonfly size 8 demi-round beads. She's also given me a lovely green tassel as well. We've got some vintage crystal, some vintage beads here. So I think they're probably, I think they're a sort of a nice drop, but they're probably lending themselves to some bead embroidery. There's some 4mm pearls, some 6mm round beads as well. There's some lentil beads here too, in 2 different colours. So there's that colour, and there was another colour here. Oh, this sort of turquoisey colour of lentil beads too. There's some teacup beads and some two hole 6mm cabs, some groovy tiles, some paisley beads, some mini gem duos, and some large petals. So lots and lots of fun things to play with. But bear with me while I just clean up some more stuff on this board. And look at me being a tidy beader, amazing. Put away my 3mm pearls. So if you watched me do the dog bone technique or haven't seen that before, it's featured on a couple of my tutorials. So Sparkly Studs or Treble Brilliance both feature that. And really great technique for using size 8 beads to capture a cabochon of, regardless of which size it is that you want to use. So look at that, nice and tidy. Okay, now let's look at what's next in these. I love the idea of these metal rings and some form of brick stitch. And I don't know whether, I mean, this is a big piece on its own if you were going to wear it, I think. It's 7 centimetres across, so it's largish. This one's, the other size is, what size is the second one? 5 centimetres. So that's more wearable as a pendant as opposed to that one, I think. This probably would work really well. You know, I've seen some of these ideas around Christmas decorations and things people utilise that for. So, you know, something like these paisley beads here, we could actually, nobody else but me, I could make a really nice sort of central piece like this, something like that. Make sure I've got all them pointing the right way. Flip that over. Some sort of, yeah, that's actually, I think that's what I'll do. All right, so what colour thread? I might actually use crystal for this one, because if I'm going to be joining onto this outer edge here, I want to have crystal and not smoke thread, so that you actually won't see the thread when it is put over the edge of the piece that I'm going to capture it to. So again, another 1.5 meters of thread that I always like to start with, and a size 10 needle. I'll just thread that. So these are sort of fine brass metallic rings. They're not particularly heavy. And some paisley beads and the 2 rings. So I'll have to think about, I think I'll utilise the big one. Okay, now because I want to put a little bit of space in between each of these, I think I'll put a size 11 bead in between each one. So because I'm doing the brass sort of gold ring, I'll choose some gold size 11s. The reason I can grab the gold and silver and those sort of colours so easily is I keep them right next to my beading surface. So a lot of my other coloured beads I have away in drawers, but the gold and silver and rose gold, I keep literally right there. You can see that there, because they're the colours that I grab all the time. Really good base colours. So when you're using paisley beads like this, they go one way or they go the other. So I just have to remember to pick them up so that they go in the right direction, like that. So they look like sort of little teardrops. So that one goes that way. And I think I'll do 8 is probably, I'm just going to move that back there. 8 is probably the best number to do for this. 8. Like that. And then I'm going to put these into a nice ring, and that'll be a really good start for this piece. As I said, this is too big to wear, but really cool for some sort of decorative piece, I think. The smaller one definitely could be a central piece for some sort of brick stitch. I'm obsessed with that at the moment. 2, 4, 6, 8, perfect. One more gold one. And when I put these into a ring, so I'm just actually going to tie that first. So I'm just going to do a nice little double knot there. And tie that and then draw that tight. Look at that. Nice little centre that's going to go in the middle of that ring like that. Okay, oh, that could work too. This is something else I could do with, I could actually put one of them in the middle of that too, couldn't I? That green crystal. Okay, I'll think about that. That can be added later. Now, the beauty of these paisley beads, if you haven't used these before, is they're a 2-hole bead. So you can see here, there's the second hole on that paisley bead. And now we have a really nice little gap here to fill in with something else. So I think the first thing I'm going to pop in there, look at what Lynda's given me, is the little demi-round bead in that first one. So that's where the 2 paisley beads are kissing with those 2 little edges together. And then the second one, maybe I might pop one of these lentil beads. No, that's the wrong colour. No, oh, the Gem Duos that she gave me. That's probably the best one. The Gem Duo. Yep, good colour for that. I'm going to pop one of those in between each of these. So again, this is another 2-hole bead, so perfect for putting in here. But I think maybe I might put a size 15 either side of that, just so that it fills that out again. So again, I've got a gold size 15, and I'm just going to pop that through the bottom hole of that Gem Duo. What I'm trying to do is build out this central piece so that it starts to fill the ring like that. Okay, so another demi-round between the kissing paisleys, 15 Gem Duo, wrong way, 15 in here like that. Yep, that's going to come together really nicely. Another pair of the kissing paisleys, a Gem Duo, a 15 Gem Duo 15 on the next piece, a demi-round, 15 Gem Duo and 15. What do we think? Little hearts. Yeah, they're kissing, aren't they, Lorraine? Look at that. Here's all of a sudden now we've got something that's starting to build out for the centre of that ring. Okay, happy with that. I'll get rid of that tail shortly as well. Now, remember what I said earlier about demi-rounds? Lovely, they've got nice big holes. So what this automatically, if I come out of that demi-round, it gives me the space to come over the top of that paisley bead there. So I think I might bring in, what sort of colour am I going to put in here? Potentially, it might be time to do a contrast colour, maybe with this. I'll go back to the purple, potentially. Yeah, maybe I'll do purple. Ooh, here we go, right out of my comfort zone. So maybe we'll pop some purple. So this is called Duracoat Galvanized Lilac Night. So if I pick up maybe 3 and go through the 15 Gem Duo and 15. 3, I think I'm going to need 4. Yep, I'm going to need 4. Okay, come back out of that. So this is what Design on the Fly is all about, is choosing new colours, guessing what's going to work, trialling that, seeing if it actually comes together, and, you know, eventually come up with a new design. So hopefully, if this technique works, this could be a new, potentially Christmas project or wind sort of chime hanger, something like that. Now, you can see here I've done 4. It probably needs 5 because there's still a bit of a gap there as well. So I am going to come back out, but I'm going to do a different colour. This is definitely your colours, Angie, definitely your colours, not mine, but I'm going to just pop out there and I'm going to pop a gold, just so that I've got another anchor point at some point when I'm coming back through for the next round. So again, I've picked up 5 size 11, so 2 purples, 1 gold and 2 purple. And I'm going to go through the 15 Gem Duo and 15. Yep, that's better. Like that. Yep. You can see there I've just created that nice little frame around that edge. So 2 purple, 1 11, 2 purple again, and I'll come back through that next demi round like that. I'll continue that again, 2 purple, 1 11, 2 purple through the 15 Gem Duo 15. It's all about building foundations to be able to build upon. So what I'm trying to do is create enough sort of anchor points and frames to be able to build something else. You're nodding off. Oh, Debbie, good night. Thank you so much for joining. And as I said, this will continue on Facebook or be on YouTube at a later stage. So thanks so much for coming along, Debbie. I really appreciate it. Okay, so pick up purples, go through all of these. Angie, have we got people in the shop today? Are you watching in the shop up at Shepparton today? I'm actually teaching up at Angie's on the 7th of October. So if you're interested in learning about shrinkets, I think that's what we're doing, Angie, the 7th of October later this year. So that's an upcoming workshop to learn all about shrinkets and using shrink plastic and every pencil, texture, stamp, colour that you like under the sun for that one. I need some more purple. Yeah, this is your colours, Angie, if ever I saw it, the purple and green together. Right out of my comfort zone, but that's what it's about, is learning something new, doing something new. Looking good so far, though. Particularly, I think when if I go back to that sort of green crystal, that in the centre of that, it's going to look really nice in that ring as well. And we've got those size 11 beads that I used at the very start there that I can actually use to do some sort of netting up over the edge of that crystal is what I think I'll actually do. Okay, 2 purple and come back through that first demi round. So again, oh, that tail's going to annoy me, but I'll cut it off soon. So you can see here now, I've got another sort of row on that frame to continue to build upon. Okay, let's come out through that gold bead. Remember when I said I added the gold? That's partly because I want to have a different anchor point. And now I'm going to try and come up to that second hole of that Gem Duo there as well. So I think what I'll do is some more gold beads. And maybe I think I need some sort of Duracoat or sea foam or something like that. That's probably too limey green. What about this one? Yeah, this is a better one. So this is the metallic June bug. So that's got that sort of purple tone. So what I think I'll pick up here is a gold, green, and gold. Like that. And come up through that next hole. Yep, perfect. Okay, so it's all about sizing beads to fit into particular spots. So now if I put that over the top of each of the gem duos, I might do a different technique now over the top of these ones here. Now we've got some lovely dark green. Oh, that's the wrong green. What about those fire polish that are in there? There's some fire polish there. They might fit there. Yep. Okay, so I'm coming out of a gold bead. I'm going to pick up a gold. No, I might pick up a demi-round, I think. Demi-round, fire polish and demi-round, and go through the next gold bead here, like that. Look at that. That works, doesn't it? Okay, gold, green, gold. Through the next gem duo. Gold, green, gold. Through the next gold bead. Okay. That was my husband just coming to check on me. It's all good. We're having fun. Do I like that? I don't know if I like that yet. I'll have to think about that. That mightn't be bad later on to actually build around there. Not sure if I like that yet. What do you think? The colours look good, but don't know about that, but we'll keep going. So I want to have something different over the kissing points of the paisley, so that it gives me something else to build on. Because remember, we've got that 7 centimetre metallic ring, so it's a matter of really filling out the beadwork as much as you can to get to that outside point. Yep, that's looking okay. Demi-round, fire polish and demi-round. And they're probably about an 8mm, I think. Are they 6 or 8mm, those fire polish? Somebody who's a bead teller will tell me what size they are. I think they were a vintage fire polish check bead from Lynda. And through here. I've got one more to add. So again, the demi-round, the fire polish and the demi-round, and up through the very first gold bead. So step up there. Okay, so now I've got this sort of next little piece. Let's have a look. See how it's sort of coming together now, getting to the point of filling out that frame. But I've got this nice area here to build up over the top of the fire polish. So I'll just put my metal frame out of the way for the moment. Okay, I'm going to bring my needle all the way through to the next demi-round. So come up through that demi-round right there. Now let's add some more purple back in. So I want to come all the way around the top of that fire polish, but I'm just going to pop a size 8 bead first. So I've just picked up a silver size 8, and then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another size 8. I'm only guessing how many I actually need for this. Yep, that's probably right. And then come through there like that. Yep, look at that. Nope, I need one more. Need 6. So the bigger fire polish bead, I need one more in that just to fill that gap. I'll have to undo that. Because what that'll do is create a really nice peak for me with 6 beads. I'll go back and add a center bead and do a really nice little point on that. And this is part of, thinking about design on the fly. What does the next step of this process actually look like? So I'm I have no idea what beads are going to be in the package when I get them. I don't know what I'm going to make, but I'm always thinking, okay, what is the next thing that I'm going to add to this to make it work? So 6 and then another size 8 bead and back through that demi round and size 11 bead. Yeah, look at that nice little edge over the top. I'm going to come back through all those beads again. So back through the 11 green, 11, the gem duo, the 11 green and 11, and up through that demi round as well. Okay, pick up a silver, and then I need some more purple beads. Angie, what do you reckon? Is looking like your colourways all together? Very much so. Silver, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 purple, another silver. So I'm just bringing in those metallic components of silver and gold into this work as well. Always, you know, really good complementary neutral colours that go with everything. So I keep those very, very close to hand because they're the colours I use all the time. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then another silver. And pop that over the top. So again, go through all those beads again. And it's actually cupping really nicely. So in terms of, you know, adding that green crystal at the center there, I'll be able to do that really nicely as well at a later stage. Go through all of them. And I think the next project, I'm already thinking about my next project. The next project I'm going to have a look at is doing something with that tassel. So some sort of decorated tassel, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, silver. And then through all of those there again. Like that. So great little foundation piece now that's going to fill in this frame here and create some sort of decorative wall hanging, I think. For me personally, too big to wear, but beading's not just about jewellery. Beading can be for creating other components for use as well. So, okay. Now, I'll actually bring the ring back. So what I want to try and do is think about how much beadwork do I need to do to fill out here. I probably could put some more in this gap as well. We know that I'm going to put the green crystal in the center, and I probably want to try and bring in some more of that, I think it's called tropical rainforest green as well with some gem duos. So thinking about how I'm going to build out something here too. Okay, let's go back to here. So I'm going to come back out. Remember I said I wanted 6 beads because I'm going to add a center bead in there. So if I come back to that group of 6 here, now I'm going to add a gold bead and go back through. And the reason I've just picked gold is that's what I did earlier. So this is about thematically keeping things aligned. So the gold center bead is the same as the gold center bead I did here. So now I've got this nice little point there with that gold bead on the top. I'm going to come back up through to the outside there of that gem duo bead. And then I think I'll add maybe 3 golds. We'll see if that works. Yep, look at that, another nice little point over the top of that gem duo. Come back through, up through the 6 here. Add another gold. And every row, or sorry, every pass that I put through all of these beads makes the piece more and more secure every time. You know, adding more beads on, just making it more and more secure. So through all of those, can I get one more? So there again, you can see that nice little point. Come up through to the center there, add on another gold, like that. Up through over the top. 1, 2, 3. that. So the theme was green today, and here I am using the opposite colour of green, purple. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I've got too many there. I've got 7 miscounted. So what I'm going to do is just break one of those beads. So I just popped one out then by breaking it with my handy awl. So don't be afraid. I didn't have to undo. I can just break the bead to get back to where I need to be. But yeah, purple, great contrast colour here as well, with that sort of darker green, gold, silver tones. Okay, so now my piece is looking even more ornate. You can see the little gold tips here, Okay, now if I go to the smaller ring, it's nearly at the right size for the smaller ring. Maybe I'll cheat and use the smaller one. What do you think? Will I keep going, or will I use the smaller ring to actually finish this off? Come back to me. Tell me what you think. I've got probably maybe 2 more rows and I could fill the smaller ring, or I could keep going for the bigger one. Remember, I'm going to come back to the centre and add that crystal in the centre as well. Okay, so next row. So I've got these great little points now to build off. Oh gosh, I've just gone round. Use the smaller. Okay, thanks Lorraine. You're a vote of confidence for me to get the smaller one. If I do the smaller one, it actually becomes a pendant then as opposed to a wall hanging. So that's always a nice thing, something that you can wear. Beautiful earrings or a bracelet. Wow. Okay. Yep. I could do that. Actually, you could repeat these tiles and make a bracelet out of something like that, couldn't you? Actually, that's not a bad idea, Paula. Make a pattern for that one. It's about ideas. It is, Lorraine. You're right. Okay. All right. Well, let's get rid of that tail because that's really annoyed me now for a good 10 minutes. So I'm just going to cut that off. Get that out of the way. Okay, now all right, let's go to the smaller ring because I do think this could become a pendant really easily now with that smaller ring. All right, I'm going to come, if it's for a hanger, the smaller one, oh yeah, I could too. I could make a small one and then make a bigger one and make it a double hanger. Good idea. I probably won't do that today, but maybe I could do that and present it later. Okay, so I'm coming out of that point bead right there on the top of my tile, and I want to try and attach it at some way back to that ring. So one of the really cool ways to attach is by using a right angle weave stitch. So I'm coming out of a bead. Actually, I'm going to do green, gold, green. So I'm going to pick up green, gold, green, and then I'm just going to go back through that first gold added like that. And what that does is flip it so that the bead is now pointing to the right piece. And ironically, this is all going to just size amazingly. So that will join really well back to that piece there. Okay. So if we come down now to that second row, the second little set of points that I have here on the gem duo. Yeah, would look good on the lid of a container. Good idea, Jackie. So, this is a part of this design on the fly, this creation of a tile with the paisley beads at the centre and the ways that you can actually use that. And I think I will, do some work on developing this more as a technique that you can actually utilise across a range of different projects. So a group of tiles that could make a bracelet. You could actually create them and stitch, say, how many would I need? 6 together and make a box as well, or a cube. There's another idea. So there's certainly lots, but I've got 8 points here now to try and join to that ring. And I wonder whether those ones will join. If that's, let's see. So if I do green, gold, green again, and come through that point. So you can see here I'm making these little joining points. That one might need 2, I think. Let's just do 2. So I'm going to repeat that exact same stitch. So I'm coming out of the gold and I'm going to pick up green, gold, green, go back through the gold, and then come back down again. So I just want to leave those little attachment points, and I'll come back to those, but I've just created those with a little right angle weave stitch. So I've done a double on top of the points over the top of the tile, and a single on the points over the top of the fire polish. And you know, if I was actually doing this to teach it as a, you know, a tutorial, you'd probably incorporate maybe 2 or 3 rows at once doing this. But because I'm doing it on the fly, I'm not quite sure. I've got an idea of what I'm going to do next, but I'm not quite sure. So there's probably ways that I could even speed this up even further by combining some of these stitches. But for now, we'll just keep going along like that. So you can see now I've got longer point here and a shorter point here, but they're actually going to fit all together on this ring really, really well. And then the trick will be is to tie it to the ring, or stitch it to the ring, not tie it. And then I'm going to add the crystal into the very center of it. So the first project today was a pair of earrings. The second one is, you know, this sort of tile into a pendant with a ring. The third project, as I said, is going to be, I think I'm going to do the tassel, because there's some great beads there that are perfect for bead embroidery or tassels. Actually, I missed that, so I need to go back up here because this is a single one. It's the shorter one, and I need to do a double on here. Okay, come back to here. Well, the sun looks like it's finally out here today, but it's still pretty miserable. Green, gold, green. Okay, so there's my double. And coming back down here and through back to the next point. Up to my gold. So again, these are colours right out of my comfort zone. The green and the purple. Oh, sorry, the purple particularly, not so much green. I do like green, but purple is definitely out of my comfort zone. But you can see how well the green and purple tones actually go together. So it's a great way to explore your colour theory as well, doing this sort of a project, because it makes you think outside what you normally would utilise. And for me, it's, you know, using purple in a piece and creating a complementary palette with, you know, those gold and silver touches as well. Keep coming all the way back up here. So this is the shorter one, so I need to do a double row of right angle weave here. So it's just a matter of green, gold, green, like that, and then repeat that. So what are we thinking so far of the tile? Oh, it's sort of Moroccan looking, I suppose, or a peacock tile. Maybe that's what I'll call it. The peacock tile, because it is peacock colours definitely in this. The paisley beads is the starting bead, and some gem duos included in that, some 6mm fire polish beads, some 8mm beads, some demi-round 8mm. So there's lots of different bead varieties in here. Some of them have come from the stack of beads that I got from Lynda from Banjo's Beads. Others I've added from my stash, my very extensive stash of beads that I have here. But yeah, all to create this design on the fly featuring green. So this will be the brass ring version, but this tile concept actually has lots of potential. So we've had a couple of ideas suggested today. I can do a larger ring and a smaller ring and join them together. I can create some sort of wall hanging from the two. From the single one could become a pendant. Can create multiple tiles and join them together and make a cube or a box out of it. You could also create a strip of tiles and make a bracelet. You could use the tile as an earring. So really versatile piece of beading here that we're creating today. Okay, so there we go. I've now got singles and doubles all the way around that piece. And let's go back to the ring. And look at that, that's going to fit just nicely in that smaller ring. So what I'm going to do is come out of the top of one of these edge beads here. It doesn't really matter where I start on the ring because it's 8 beads. They're just going to fit nicely on that point. And what I want to do is do some sort of attachment over that ring. And I think what I need is probably, let's try, if I do green, purple, green, how am I trying to do this? I want to go over the edge, and I want to come through that way. That way, you don't know what that way means when I say that. No, that's not right. So I need to just think about how I'm going to attach that. There needs to be a way that I can create that loop and utilize the back of it. So maybe I need to go that way. Okay, and I think I need more beads. So I'm going to just ditch those 3 there, and I think I need 5. So I'm going to do gold, purple, green, purple, gold, and I want to come through the same way. So I've got my thread going over the ring. I've got 5 beads on and I'm going back through the same direction. And what that means is I'm going to create that again. So gold, purple, green, purple, gold, and I'm going to come back through the opposite way. So this is going to create a double edge. Yep, that's it. Over the top of my ring like that. Can you see that? Okay. So now I want to go down to another ring, another edge piece. So I'm just going to move my needle. These will tighten up as we go along. And again, as I said, if I was actually teaching this, we might do this all in one, but because we're designing on the fly, I'm not quite sure what this step's going to look like until I do it. But you can see here, the more I tighten that, it just pulls that, and that's got this really nice little edge piece now as well. What do you think? Let me know. It's always interesting to hear what people think of these things as they're being designed on the fly. I've got to continue to make my way up to that top little right angle weave section here on the top of a fire polish bead. And okay, so it was. So I'm coming out to the top of my thread is coming out one way of the bead there. I'm going to pick up gold, purple, green, purple, gold. Go over the top of my ring and come back through in the opposite direction. Okay. Again, I'm going to repeat that. So gold, purple, green, purple, gold, and come back through the opposite way. Is that right way? You can see there I've just, oh no, that's right. I think I went the wrong way. I need to think about that as I'm actually doing it. Yeah, I've twisted that the wrong way. Okay, let's just do that again. So the more times I do this, the better at it I'll get. So I'm going, let's pull that tight. I think I've done something wrong there on that one. I have. Look at that. I've gone through the purple bead instead of the gold bead. So good to see that there's something wrong there. I'll just undo that. That one there is wrong, because you can see there I've actually gone through the purple bead instead of back through that gold. So that's why that loop didn't look quite right. Good to pick that up right now. Question, will the ring be too small? I don't think so, Lorraine. I think it will tighten. The more I add these edge beads on, you can see there it's sort of a pretty good fit. And then by the time I add that back into the middle of it, I think it should be okay. So if I was going to try and make that smaller or tighter, it might be that I'd use, say, a size 15 bead for these little right angle weave pieces. But yeah, designing on the fly, I won't really know until I'm at that point, but I think it should be okay. So again, I'll pick up my 5 beads, so gold, purple, green, purple, gold, and I'm coming out that way. So I want to come over the edge of my ring like that and go over the edge of my ring. Let me just do that again and come back through in the same direction. Yes, that's right. Pick up the same again. So gold, purple, green, purple, gold, and then come back through in the same direction. I think that's the answer. Yes, that's correct. So that's often the way when you're designing these things is repeating them so that you actually know what it is that you're doing. Okay, so you can see here I've now got 2 little spider legs over the top, and I'm going to continue that spider leg pattern all the way around the ring. Yeah. So I'm pulling that tighter and it's just starting to size up really, really nicely. And what I love about this is there's an opportunity at the next point is to actually build something off those peaks as well. So this, you know, gives you lots of scope then to continue to build out different elements. So let's go to the next one. So I'm sorry, this is just going to take me a little while, but I will get to, this is not sped up Instagram time or anything. This is real life, how long this stuff actually takes. And I know I am a fast beater, but it does take a little bit of time to do hand beaded work. As many of you who are beaders will know, it does take us a while to get done what we love to do. So again, I'm going to come out of a gold bead. Okay, let's see if I can get it right first go this time. So it's gold, purple, green, purple, gold. I was hoping you would have fun with that ring. Oh, Lynda, I am having fun. I was going to make this the bigger ring. And welcome, Lynda. So everybody, Lynda, who is from Banjo's Bead House, has joined us. Thanks, Lynda. I was going to make the bigger ring, but I've decided to shorten the process and use the smaller ring, but the concept is still there for the bigger ring. So I've got the 5 beads on there, and the trick was to go over the ring and go back through in the same direction, pick up the same technique again. So gold, purple, green, purple, gold, and go back through in the same direction. That's the answer. Okay, pull that tight, and I've now got that little spider leg set over the top of my ring as well. Keep moving through that. Like that. Okay, so again, we're going to pop that green crystal in the center. I knew you'd like the purple and green as well, Lynda. That's another one of your favorite colors. So Thank you for this gorgeous package of green. You've missed the first one we've done. So the first one I did was create an earring with the peacock cab bead. So I used the demi-round beads in that, added some 3mm pearls and some size 15 and 11 beads, and used that treble brilliance technique to actually create that little peacock earring. So that was the first one, and I think the third one I'm going to attempt to utilise will be using the tassel, but I just want to get to a more finished point with this ring. Okay, so for those who've joined later, these beads have come from Lynda at Banjo's Bead House. So thanks again, Lynda. Lynda's up in Oatlands in New South Wales and has a huge variety of all sorts of beads in her store, and that's where this surprise package has come from today, from Lynda and Denise. So if you get a chance, get online and have a look at some of these beads, and if I ever get to the point, Lynda, of making this as a tutorial, we'll know who to come to get the beads. So gold, purple, green, purple, and gold. Oh, I bet you it was a challenge picking green for me. I mean, if I had have given you a pink challenge, that would have been easy. So come back through in the same direction, correct? Just missed a gold bead, has just dropped off that. Okay, do that again. Come back through in the same direction. Yep. And is that twisted? Nope, that's right. Okay. So pick up the same again. Gold, purple, green, purple and gold. And do the second spider leg by going back through the same direction over the ring. Yep. So look at that. I've now got 4 on. So it's really coming together. And yep, I'm really enjoying this. It's looking fabulous. The peacock paisley tile ring, I don't know what else project. It's got multiple names that could come from this. So paisley beads at the centre, some gem duos, some demi-round beads, some 11s, some size 8s. Haven't used any 15s yet in this project. 15s, as I said earlier, I always tend to try and buy, you know, the size 11, the 8 and the 15 in any colourway that I use, so that I've always got them. You can't not have them. Excuse my dog barking at something across the road. She thinks that we're getting attacked all the time. It's ridiculous. Okay, so gold, purple, green, purple, gold, and go back over the ring and back through the same direction. I'll get this perfect by the end of this. Gold, purple, green, purple, gold, and back through the same direction. Nope, didn't go over the ring that time. Let me just rethread my needle. Okay. I'll do that again. Gold, purple, green, purple, gold. Over the ring, back through the same direction. Yep, there we go. So this is really firming up nicely now with those spider legs over the top and the edge of the ring. I've only got 3 more to do, so we're getting there. And then I need to think about how I'm going to do the crystal in the center, which I've got an idea for that already. So I've done that technique before, where the crystal has been added last on the piece. So you could leave it open and have that nice central hole, but because it's sort of created that divot, you can see there's a bit of a divot there, that just the natural way the paisley beads have gone, they lend themselves very nicely to having that space to put in the green Rivoli as well. So nearly there. Okay. So gold, purple, green, purple, gold, over the ring, back out the same way. Yep. Gold, purple, green, gold, or purple, gold, back through the same way, over the ring. Yep. And again, remember, look at this lovely edge that I've got here. So these beads are going to be perfect for doing something around that edge as well. I'm actually thrilled with how this is coming together. It's just so good to be creative in this space and come up with new designs. So thanks, Lynda, for pushing me out of my colour comfort zone right here and giving me some components that, you know, most of us would have lots of these beads in our stashes. It's just about using the challenge to actually create something with them. And I often think this is a great sort of workshop, you know, come along and design on the fly in the day, and, you know, bring along a dozen of your bead types in a particular colorway or theme, like I did hearts the other month with Angie, you know, and then you can just create things on the fly. So look at that. It's looking really, really cool. Okay. I need to get up to the top there. As I said, this will be available on YouTube after today, so I will make sure that if you need to leave, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to sit and watch me all day, but if you do need to go, it will be on YouTube to watch at a later point. So some more purple and some more gold. So these colours look, you know, they're really complementary. The gold, the purple and the green look great together. So gold, purple, green, purple, gold. And these are all size 11 beads that I'm using around the edge. Go back through the same direction, over the ring. Gold, purple, green, purple, gold. And back through the same direction. I think that was the first one I did completely correct. Okay. One to go. Wow, looks really cool. If I do say so myself. It's still loose, like it's not firm yet. It will get firmer. So, you know, maybe I could have used size 15s for that little right angle weave section. That might be the second variation when I do this, would be a size 15 bead. And often when I'm designing new things, I tend to make them, you know, three times before I'm really comfortable with it. Lynda, do you know which direction the peacock feathers on the cabochon? Which direction? Yes, Lynda, we had to do a vote of which direction did the feathers actually go. I've made them that the feathers are pointing down, which I suppose if the peacock has got his feathers on the ground, that's correct. But if his tail was up, then they would be pointing up. Okay, gold, purple, green, purple, gold. Come back through the same direction. Gold, purple, green, purple, gold. Would be personal choice. Good answer, Lynda. Back through the same direction. Okay, so now look at that. I've got my 8 spider legs all the way over the top of those pieces there. I'm going to add a new thread, I think, because this thread's getting short. And then I want to actually dome it and put that crystal right in the middle there as well. And then I want to think about what I could do here in those edges. I probably won't do all of those today because I want to move on to something else, but I will finish that and come back and show you at a later point what that looks like. But I am going to capture that cab, and I'll show you how to, the Rivoli. So what I'm going to do now is bring my needle down to one of those very first size 11 beads that we added right at the very start with the right at the very start in the middle of those paisley beads. So I'm just sort of trying to get my thread all the way down to the start. Remember, we used some demi rounds right in the middle here. They're the kissing paisleys. The paisley beads, of course, have 2 holes in them, so they're a great way to maneuver around your beadwork with those holes. I've used the fire polish beads in here, and I've used the little gem duos as well. But what I want to do is come out of one of those size 11 beads right there. Okay, now that 12 mil fits perfectly in the center of that dome. So I need to do some sort of netting in between each of those, and I might actually only do 4 points, I think. So if I repeat that theme of gold, purple, green, purple and gold, and I skip over that first size 11 there and go through the next one, that will give me sort of 4 net points to actually capture that in. I think that's going to work. Let's see. No, I need 7. So when you're doing this sort of netting for capturing a cab, an odd number is better than an even number because you can then have your picot point at the center. So I'm just going to take off 3. I'm now going to add in, I think I'll do green, purple, green, purple, gold. So how many is that? Is that 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Correct. Okay, so they're going to make 4 little net points. Sorry, I just have to rethread my needle in between each of those paisleys. So I'm going to skip over 111, go through the next 11 like that. If I pop that in there, yep, that's going to come up over the edge. Okay, so gold, purple, green, purple, green, purple, gold. Skip over a size 11 bead and then go through the next one. Okay, gold, purple, green, purple, green, purple, gold. Skip over the paisley, sorry, one size 11 and the paisley like that. So you can see now I'm forming that nice little net in the center that I'll be able to capture that Rivoli in. So gold, purple, green, purple, green, purple, gold. And then up through that size 11 bead. And then because it's a net with the picots, I want to come up through the center purple bead that I just added there. Okay, so I've now got this really nice little net. My crystal's going to fit perfectly in there, and then I'm just going to join over to the next picot bead. And I think I'll bring in, they're too big. Lynda, I needed some 3 mils in here. So I had some, where did I put them before? Some little gold 3 mil pearls. So I pick up a 3 mil and then I'm just going to net by going over to that next purple picot bead over here. See, look at that, and it just comes up over the top. It needs something either side, and you don't know this until you actually put them in place, but this needs maybe a size 11 or a 15 either side of that pearl So let's just add that in. My thread is getting really, really short. My favourite, you think, Lavinia. All right, let's give that a try. Let's try the demi-round. Yeah, let's try the demi-round. So demi-round, pearl, demi-round, and I'm going to net over to that centre purple bead on the next little net. Good thing I have a healthy 3mm stash. You're not wrong, Lynda. Okay, yep, that's better. Okay, so demi-round, good way to bring the demi-rounds back in favour. 3mm and demi-round. I'm going to net over to the next purple bead right there. So this is going to create this nice little crown sort of net in the middle of our piece. Demi-round, 3mm, and then demi-round. I'm just going to hold that in place. Go through to the next purple centre picot bead, like that. And just repeat that one more time. Demi-round, 3mm, demi-round. And come back through that purple bead right there. Now when I draw those tight, look at that, it just captures straight away that little crown. What do you think? I think it looks pretty cool actually. I'm pretty happy with that. So this is now a really pretty spectacular looking piece. It's got a brass ring, it's got some paisley beads at the base, it's got a beautiful rivoli now that's in a crown there at the top. Again, I think Jackie's suggestion, you know, top of a container or something could look really good. Yeah, really cool way this has come together. I'm going to put this aside for the minute because I want to move on to the tassel piece, but my next phase, and I'll do this later today, will be to build out these little edge pieces. I want to sort of try and stiffen it a little bit more so that it's not quite as movable. And I think by adding some structure into these right angle weave spider legs will actually do that. And potentially maybe I needed a single there rather than a double. I'm not really quite sure yet. I just need to play around with that a bit more. But this has come together particularly well, this whole idea of a crowned ring piece. So, wow, have a look at that. The Peacock Paisley Ring Crown Crystal. So, great one. All right, let's do a little mini cleanup while we look at the next lot of beads to play with. So, again, I want to really look at this green. I love this green bead that Lynda's given me. So that's a 6mm cab. There's a limey green tassel as well. There are some lovely turquoisey coloured beads. So there's some teacup beads, the groovy tiles, the 6mm 2-hole cabs, and the petal beads. And there's some lovely fringing beads in these vintage crystals as well. So when you look at all of these together, you can see all those colours together, that's going to be a fairly swishy decorated crystal. Tassel. Okay, so the 6mm, I've used these lots, these 2-hole 6mm beads, and they're going to go really nicely around the edge of this tassel. These green beads will probably feature in there somewhere as well. So will the teacups, and then these will be some sort of drop that I think that are going to come down that tassel as well. So I'll just take its little sleeve off. With the tassels like this, I tend to just cut off that, you know, tie or thread that's at the top of them. I don't use those very often in beading, so I just tend to cut them off. And then one of the things that I like to do, just so that they don't come undone, is get my thread burner and just burn the ends of those little threads. Just melt them a little bit so that they just sort of knot off. Now, hold your finger on it as well. and that just makes it a bit more secure. So, okay, there's the tassel. All right, let's thread a new needle. I'm going to go back to my smoke colour for this because we're not going around a ring or anything, so the smoke will sort of disappear into this piece. Again, I'll get my trusty size 10 needle. This one's not quite as bent as, oh, it's got a rotten eye on it though, so that one can go back over there. Size 10 needle. And look how gorgeous these sort of vintage, oh, look at that. They're actually a pentagon shape. Oh, they look really cool, sort of stitched together like that. Some way. I need to think about that. Okay. All right. So I've got these, and they're going to fit beautifully around this piece. You can see here the little band of the tassel is perfect for holding these. And I think from memory, usually about 6 or 7 of these go perfectly around a tassel. So I'm going to use my favourite in between each one. So a demi-round in between each hole of the 6 mil, like that. Because, again, the demi-round perfect. It's got a nice big hole that we can capture and net onto at a later point. And I think it's 6 that fit really nicely around these tassels. So there's 5. One more, so demi-round again, like that. And let's just see if that's going to wrap around the tassel, or do I need 7? No, one more, 7. So there's my first challenge. So 7 is a harder number to work with than 6, but I'm up for it. Okay, and I've just put that one on wrong, so I need to go back and put that one on the other way. So, okay, so that's my first challenge with this, is I've got 7 beads around and not 6. And with these little round domes, I want to make sure that they're all facing the same way, so that the dome is to the outside and the flat piece is to the inside. So you can see there's the domed and there's the flat side, okay? Demi-round again, so that I've got the 7 and 7. And I'm just going to form a ring by going back through all of those beads again. So there's my little ring that I've just made. Oh, doesn't that look sweet? It's just a really nice colour combo. Actually, I could probably do something else with those. Let me see. I'm like a meerkat. I've gone into something else already. But that makes a really nice foundation ring. You know, looking at that bigger ring, you could use something like the round cabs in the centre as well. The paisley beads we used before, but the round cabs would work as well for something like that. Okay, now that little ring, I want to pop that over the top of my tassel like that. And then I want to come through one of the holes at the bottom of the tassel, at the bottom of the cab. And I'm going to repeat those demi-rounds again in between each of the bottom hole. So there's lots of different 2-hole beads on the market. I really like working with them. I've got a whole different stash of 2-hole beads. I know some people sort of poo-poo them, you know, they're not as pure perhaps as what, you know, traditional beading is, but I find them to be a really great foundation bead for using in beadwork. They're a really good starting bead for things. The 2-hole make it easier to work with them. Yeah, don't be afraid of building up your stash of 2-hole beads. Okay, that just popped off, but we'll put that back on again. So now when I draw that tight, those little domes are all facing towards the outside. Now I probably could get away with 6, I think, now that I look at it, because see, 7's a bit loose, and I am going to be a pain, and I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to go back and do 6, because 6 is easier to work with, that whole thing around even numbers versus odd numbers. So let me just whip that out and get rid of one of those cabs. So Again, the best tool to have in your beading kit. It's something that I use all the time. Ha ha, there's a dad joke for you. All tool is just fabulous tool for using for all sorts of things, whether I put glue on with it, which I probably shouldn't do, use it to break a bead. You saw me break a bead earlier. I use it to help get knots undone, just sort of, poke your way through to different things with it. So yeah, best tool ever is the awl. Okay, so I'm going back with 6 now. So again, I'm just going to run through all those beads and put them in a circle. So there's my nice little circle again. This time I'm going to put it on top before I tighten it because I've gone to 6 and not 7. I've now got a bit of room to stretch it around. So that it'll be a little bit gappier, but we'll be able to fill those gaps in. Okay, so come through the beads again. So I'm going to go through all the beads again. And you can tie a knot in this. There's different ways to actually, there's no right or wrong way. I've probably used both techniques, tied them into a ring like I did earlier with the paisley beads, or go back through all the beads again like I'm doing this time and tightening with tension. So either way, I don't have any rules about how I do that sort of stuff. Often it is just what I feel like doing at the time is how I will create these. So I'm going to tighten that now. So that's a much better fit. So 6 little cabs around and not 7 is definitely a better fit. Okay, again, so I'm going to come back through that second hole, add the demi round in between each top and each bottom hole here. And I'm actually holding that really tightly now. I've got my tension on that tail thread. You can see that there around my finger. I'm not letting go. I think that's partly why I'm a quick beater, is I actually don't put my work down very often. I tend to be holding it most of the time. So it's in my hand. I'm not putting it down, picking up beads. I'm pretty quick at doing it that way. I don't know why, it's just intuitive the way that I've learnt to bead, but don't put it down is probably my biggest number one speed factor. Okay, so now I've got this nice ring around the tassel and those beautiful demi-round holes to be able to bead under. So I'm going to go to the green here, and I know that 5 is probably a really good number to fit underneath that. Look at that. 5 is perfect. So if I just do that 5 green, and this is the June bug, I think it was called, 5 of those under each of those little domes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The beauty of using a tassel, it's fabric. So guess what? You can thread through your tassel as well to even secure those beads onto the tassel head. So it's a really good way to make sure that your beadwork does not come off by stitching through the tassel. We won't do it just yet, but you can stitch through your tassel as well. And I think maybe these might look good with a couple of rows of different colours underneath, but I'll think about that in a second. Okay, so there's the bottom row. So it's just come off because I haven't stitched it on. See that bottom row there all the way, and then I'm just going to come back through and do the top row as well. So again, I'm going to come out of, making sure that I go the right way, come out of the beadwork and come up through a demi-round bead there like that, and pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and go through the demi-round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 demi-round. So look at this nice little band. Oh gosh, just knocked my pearls. Band that's created. I will stitch through my tassel at some point just to secure that across the top of the piece. Because it's fabric, you can actually do that, and you just literally run your thread right through the head of the tassel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tassels obviously come in lots and lots of different colorways and lengths. This sort of, 10 centimeter length is a great length for earrings, for pendants. So I tend to use a lot of this size tassels in my work. Great as a drop on a pendant as well. So, you can do a really nice big cab piece and have a beautiful tassel that finishes the bottom of that cab piece. Okay, so there we go. I've got a nice band now around my tassel head like that. And I think what I'll do now is I'm actually just going to stitch that through. So I'm literally just going to run my thread all the way through that tassel like that. And I'm going to come out the opposite side on that demi-round here. And then just run that thread, all the way through again. Just so that it's secure. So I'm just sort of attach that now to the piece. Okay. Now, where am I going to come out of? So again, there's my demi-round here. I probably could have used a different colour. It would stand out a little bit more, but that's okay. I'm using what I've got. And I've got these, what have I got here? So Lynda's given me some little limey green beads here. So how many of those? Because I need 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not going to work. Okay, so I've also got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 4 mil. I'm not going to use those 2 because there's only 2 of those ones. These little glass pieces, maybe they might work if they're all the same size. 1, 2, 3. No, actually, look at that. I might go back to those little gem duos maybe. Okay, so let's bring in some gold again. So gold, gem duo gold, and I'm going to go through the picot on the top of that little one just there. Yep, look at that. Nice little gem duo bead there. So again, gold, gem duo. Got to go the right way through that. Gold through that little picot. And I'll do that all the way around. So you can see there, that looks really good with those little gem duos on the top. And this is the mini gem duo in the rainforest green colour. There's my tail there. I'll get rid of that shortly. Gold. Where'd the rest of the gem duos go? Mini gem duos. There they are. You can see how I get in a mess so quickly. My goodness. I was very organised last night. I cleaned all my bead board before I started today, so I knew that I wouldn't have to rush this morning. But yeah, last night was earring making for a workshop that I'm actually teaching at tomorrow, so I needed to get those samples done. So if you are in Healesville tomorrow, I will be teaching at the Whimsical Bead out at Danny's. Teaching 2 earrings in 1 day workshop. So I'm teaching the spangle earrings and the filigree earrings tomorrow out in Healesville. So yes, my teaching schedule is I've got quite a few for the rest of this year, which is great. So I hope to see you at one of those at some point. Okay, you can see here I've got now my mini gem duos around each of those. I've got the gold either side. And what I want to try and do is close up that top so that we're coming up over the top of the tassel. So I want to be coming out of the top hole there of the gem duo bead. So just got to keep moving my needle around to get to the right point. There we go. Okay. Now, they fit really nicely with a size 8 bead in between there. So if I go back to, let's look at a gold size 8. And pop one of those in between each of those gem duos as well. Because the idea with the tassel is, because it's got that sort of rounded Top is we're trying to reduce the size to make a domed cap, basically, to fit over the top of the tassel head. So size 8 beads fill that gap really nicely. And when I draw that close, you can see how that's just sort of coming together over the top of that. And the trick with these, I think, is repeating that same sort of theme and colourway at the bottom. So that's the next step. And again, I could use, actually that's not a bad idea, I could use that crystal right on the top there as well. What do you think about that? I think that'll work too. Okay, so I've drawn that really tightly now, and again, I can use these, the size 8 beads. So if I just do a bit of a peyote out that way, so I'm making a flatter base now to fit the Rivoli on, like that. And then I'm going to do a net. See, it's all coming together, and the crystal will fit really nicely on the top of this tassel, which will be a pendant essentially when it's finished, because then you can do a lovely rope that comes up either side. So because I'm putting it on this way, I need to continue to build out that base. So that now needs another net. So let's do, what colour? I might use my demi-rounds again too. So let's do gold, demi-round gold in between each of those now as well. So gold, demi-round gold in between each one. Gold, demi-round gold. Gold, demi-round gold. Gold, demi-round gold. So I'm creating that sort of bowl, sorry, my hands weren't on there, that bowl sort of shape then to be able to put the crystal, a nice little bed for it to sit in. So I'll just pop out some more gold beads. Gold, demi-round gold. And step up, and I'll come up through the demi-round. Can you see now, Jackie? Is that better? I realised I was off camera. So you can see there, when I pop that crystal on top, I still need a little bit more of a wider net yet. So let's make that net wider. So again, this time I'm going to do 2 gold, 1 demi-round, 2 gold. So I'm trying to make the bowl of that net wide enough to fit the Rivoli in, and then bring the net over the edge so that it captures, that's a demi-round that's snuck in there, so that it captures the Rivoli. And so this is the third row of the net. So 2 gold, demi-round, 2 gold over the edge like that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 over that edge. And remember, I've got to try and put some of that rainforest green colour at the bottom of this as well, because thematically I want to have a consistent colour palette for this. Some more 11s. So gold, gold, green, gold, gold, and I think that will probably work it. So I'm going to come up through the Pico demi-round bead there. I'm going to sit my crystal on top. Yep, that's going to add over the edge. So now I want to actually do an edge that comes over. So remember before when I captured that little crystal we did 4. This time we're doing 6. I think I'm going to do a green. Where did my gold pearls go? There they are. Green, gold, and green in between each net, like that. So green, gold, green in between the nets. And I'll just check my sizing so that that's going to sit over the top. Yep, that'll work. I'll just draw that a bit tighter. I need some more green beads. So again, these are the higher metallic June bug. So 2 green, pearl. The reason I like to use the pearls for this is they're just a bit wider than a normal bead, so they hold those rivolis in place particularly well. I did too many then, I did 5, not 3. Goose. Sorry, I'll just undo that. 1, 2. Okay. So green, pearl, and green, and through the next net. So it looks loose right now, but very soon when I add that crystal in, it will hold that all in really nicely. Green, pearl, green, and through the net. So I should now have 6 pearls around that edge. Okay, you can see there's my little capture piece. Pop the crystal in, and then when I draw that close, I'll just hold my finger on top and then do a reveal. It will hold that crystal in place. Now I need to just tighten that a little bit, so one of the ways to do that will be just to do another little edge bead in there as well. So I'm just pushing my thumb, pulling that thread really taut there as well, and I need to close that over. Now the way I'm going to close that over is I need to add something in between each of the pearls. So what I'm going to add is that size 8 bead, I think. That might close it up. So if I go between the pearls and add a size 8, yep, that's going to do it. Size 8 bead between each pearl. Sorry, I've just got to hold my thumb to hold that in place. Like that. And that's now created that little sort of, mystery and point of difference on the top of this piece is with that lovely little rivoli attached on the centre. Gold, size 8. And I need a couple more size 8s out here. There they are. And then, as I said, I want to go back and put some more of that rainforest mini duos at the bottom of this piece. I need to think about the turquoise too, because there's turquoise in the domes in the centre, and I haven't really got any other turquoise, so I probably need to look at how to bring that other colour back in as well, and look at what Lynda's provided for me. So you can see there my crystal's just popped out because I hadn't tightened it yet. So it looks pretty loosey-goosey right now, but once I put that in place and tighten that, it just sort of fills out that whole little pocket that we've created with those nets here. You can see that now, that's much firmer. The rivoli's in the centre, it's got that nice little gold top on it, okay? And now I want to put some of that rainforest green at the bottom as well. Okay, so to tighten this up, it would be just a matter then of going through each of those size 8 beads. So what I'll do is I'll skip over the pearl. You won't actually go through the pearl again, you just go through the size 8. You won't actually see this thread. It magically just sort of disappears on the top here. But hold my thumb on top and pull that tight, and then run that through the size 8 beads only, not through the pearls, like that. And it just really tightens up and creates that lovely hexagon shape then, because of the 6 beads that we've used. So you can see there, I've got that nice crystal shiny top. Got our lovely little nets here that have formed with the demi rounds and the green. It's nice and firm as well. And what I want to do is now bring in that rainforest colour at the bottom. So I'm just going to manoeuvre my thread to come all the way back down to the bottom of this piece. You can see there's the nice little peak nets. These are great if you want to add something else in there at another point as well. You've got these little open sections. And again, the demi-round beads with those nice big holes are good for anchoring, for adding in other things too. So I've used a variety of beads in this, you know, size 8 beads. I've used the gem duos. I've used the dome beads. So lots of different beads have made up this sort of little mini beaded tassel pendant. But again, I want to bring in that rainforest colour and then think about the turquoise colour. So a bit more work to do on this yet. And get that to come all the way down the bottom. And I've just caught my thread over that, and I'm just trying to... And then I would actually do some sort of chain that comes off the top of this, so that when it's hanging, you as the wearer look down and see that beautiful shiny crystal, and everybody else gets to see the beaded tassel component. So if I come back to that same picot that I had here, and I add in the gold gem duo and gold technique that I did before across each of those peak beads like that. So you can see there now I'm thematically bringing that other colour back in to the bottom. So it's a way of tying the whole colour look together by repeating that rainforest green colour at the bottom. Okay, just make sure that I don't catch my tassel. And I love the way those little gem duos, they form that really nice little peak at the bottom as well. You don't necessarily have to add anything into those bottom holes from them, because the shape of them just lends itself to be a nice dangle feature at the bottom of this tassel. So my tail thread is still there. Across to that peak like that. Like that way. So I've brought the, the gold has come back into it at the bottom as well. The rainforest green colour, and it's matched in with the turquoise. And I might do something else here just to fill in those holes that you can see there on the dome bead. So let me think about that, because you can actually build off those domes and add another bead on the top of there too. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that because that's annoying me now too. Okay, gold. So what do we think of this one? Thoughts? People got ideas about, creating tassels using different beads? Has anybody used tassels in their work before? Earrings, pendants, using them as a feature on a piece. If you've seen my beadwork, you know that I love a tassel and I've used them in lots of different things over the years. But let me know how you've used these types of tassels. And of course, if you're interested in any of the beads that I've used here today, get in touch with Lynda at Banjo's Bead House. She's been our supplier. Love it. You're a sucker for tassels too, Angie. I know we both like to use them in swishy things, don't we? They just finish off a piece so well. So you can see there now I've got these lovely little... The theme now is continued. I've got the gold and the rainforest at the bottom, the darker green, the turquoise, and that little rainforest at the bottom there as well. I think it might be nice to do some sort of dangle with those vintage beads. So I'll think about that in a second. But what I want to do now is I want to come back up, and I might come back to those holes. I'm not going to do that just yet. I want to come back up to this sort of center bead here. So that's our first demi-round that we added. Remember when I joined the domes and the demi-rounds together? I want to do something that joins the two demi-rounds because I don't want to see these holes that are here. Now, I don't think I want to add purple into this, potentially that sort of sea foam, those size 15s that I used earlier. Where did they go? Somewhere here. Maybe that colour might go. Be careful, they're addictive. Yes, they certainly are. No, you've just got to keep adding to your collection, Angie. We all need to have plenty of beads. So if I add maybe a 15, 11 and a 15, and what I'm going to do is go through the opposite side of that demi round there, and then I'm going to add 15, go through the 11 that I just added, and then add another 15 and go back through the demi round. And I'm going to go all the way through my beadwork. And what that does, look at that, that's really sweet. It just puts that really nice little cross feature over the top of those domes. So go back up to my demi round. So I'm doing a little crisscross over the top. So 15, 11 and a 15, come back through the demi round that way. Pick up a 15, go through the 11 bead in the center like that. Pick up another 15 and go back through the demi round. And what that's done is just framed those domes really well. It's also tied back with that lighter turquoise colour too. So just another really good tip when you're using your 2-hole beads, if you want to sort of join them in a ring like this, you don't want to see the holes. This is a great way just to cover up that hole by doing a little cross section of beading over the top. So I'm utilising the demi rounds from the very first row and just adding this little cross in between each one. So what do you think of this? Yeah, perfect. I agree, Jackie. It's a good way just to finish that off, and it just tightens up that frame really well by putting that over the top. And also I think that little point of gold, you know, ties all of those things together as well. So it's certainly from a plain tassel, it's now got a bit of pizzazz about it, I think. And I do want to do some sort of dangle at the bottom there as well. So 15, 11 and 15. Oh no, I'm not at the right point yet. Come back up through to my demi round bead. And of course, you know, you can the demi rounds come in multiple colours. So this of course has blended because I've done the green and the green, but you could make that stand out with a contrasting colour as well. So don't be afraid to experiment with colour. Oh, I'm really happy with how that has just come together with that little frame over the top. So okay, and then I want to try, I'll probably finish in maybe about half hour or so, but I want to try something else with those dome beads. That's been running through my mind since I first did that little ring of those as well. So we might just pull them together, and I might do them with some silver, I think. Because I've done lots of gold and green and purple today, so I might just pull out some turquoise and silvers, which is a really great colour combo. Okay, 15, 11 and 15, back through that last demi round there, and then that little crisscross section like that and like that. Okay, what do you think about that? Really come together really well, that whole sort of still seeing the brighter green through there. We've got our little secret crystal at the top. We've got the tying in of the rainforest colour at the top and the bottom. I think it needs, you know, just a little bit more jazzy at the bottom. I'm going to do something else down here. Now I know I left these holes open of that little mini duo before, and really I really like the point that they create there. So I think maybe I might do, if I did Let's go back to some more gold beads. If I did gold, demi-round and gold, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but you know, we've got to try it. Just at the bottom there. No, I don't like that. I really want to try and keep that the point of the gem duo as the feature. So I want to try and do something around the bottom of the gem duo. That's what I want. So maybe if I do gold, demi-round gold, but I go this way, back through the, yeah, that's better, like that. And then maybe if I pop a size 15, that little turquoise, and come back up this way, I'm now tying the turquoise colour back in as well, like that. Pull that tight. What do we think? So I've now added that little feature at the bottom of the gem duo. What do you think about that? Looks good, doesn't it? Does that nice little feature on the bottom of the gem duo bead. I am going to do one section of dangles, so I'm going to now run my thread all the way over to the next. As I said earlier, if I was, you know, teaching this or had done this several times, some of these steps I would have done earlier than what I'm doing them now. I'm doing them later because I'm designing on the fly. But if I was actually teaching this, I possibly would shortcut some of these steps that I've done today. But that's all the fun of the design. So again, I'm coming through the bottom of my little gem duo there, picking up a size 15 now and running through those beads again. And so I'm literally going through them all twice. 15, like that. And then if I get my little trusty awl and I pull down on the demi-round so that it creates that nice little picot point, you can see there's the lovely little points that's created on that. So I'm pretty happy with that little feature. This looks great. So the tassel has now got a real life and style all of its own. I'm not going to do all of those yet because I want to move on to something else. But I will show you what my thought was for at least one of these mini gem duos is. So I'm coming to the bottom of one of these again. But I want to do a longer drop. So, you know, I've got all these beautiful vintage crystal pieces here. So if I do gold, one of these nice hexagonal pieces, a demi-round, a pearl. So this is again tying in the theme of the pearls that I've used earlier. A drop. You're thinking that you're a demi-round convert, as you should be, Alex. You've seen me use them enough to know that they are the king of beads for this type of work. They're really a fabulous, fabulous bead. So you can now see I've created this little sort of sparkly drop. Oh, sorry, I'll just move into the camera. There. So that's going to be the feature that sits at the front. One more of those, like that. And I think maybe just tie back with one of these lovely little fire polish beads at the very bottom. I'll do a little picot of 3 beads. Oh, I missed a demi around there. Demi, picot, 1 green, gold, green. And then go through all of those beads again. All the way. And I've just created a really nice dangle that's going to sit off the front of this tassel. Like that. What do you think? Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Like it's going to swish and little nice piece of glass. I need to just think about how I'm going to do that bit at the top there. That's not quite right, coming through that size 11. I probably need to do another 11 on the other side of it, like that. There we go. There, I've now got that dangle at the top. My job this afternoon, I will finish off doing those little peaks, and then I'll work out a way to capture that from the top. But that's essentially the tassel with the vintage check dangle at the front, the green tassel, the little crystal at the top. So never added dangles. Well, there you go, Lynda. That's one way. And I just think, you know, if this is a pendant and that's hanging at the front of it, it's just a bit of, you know, movement. Okay, so that's the third thing. But I'm just going to, you know, quickly move them out of the way. Look at that nice clean surface. And let's look, one more thing I want to have a bit of a go at is with the dome beads. Let's see how many I've got. 1, 2, 3. Got any more of those? How many did you give me of those, Lynda? Oh, not enough to do my idea. Okay, well, that idea can just sit to one side. And let's go now maybe to the groovy tiles. What a great name that is, groovy tiles. So I'm going to just, again, thread. This time I'll use crystal because I'm going to be doing some silver with this. Not sure what I'm going to make, but I just like the idea of using a tile that's the bead that's called the groovy tile. So I'll thread my nice size 10 needle with about 1.5 meters of my crystal fire line. Now, groovy tiles, they've got 2 holes. So let's have a look at them, the 2 holes. They've got a nice little groove there in the centre of them. So there's potentially a way to maybe string that, and I wonder whether, just sort of thinking this is an earring foundation or a tile piece, so maybe the 4 like that. Okay, yep. I could put a demi round in between each corner. So let's just start stringing that. So a demi round, a groovy tile, demi round, groovy tile, demi round, groovy tile, and demi round. They're fun to bezel with. I bet they are, because that little groove would just make it easy to sit things in the centre of it. So I'm just going to tie that into a knot, into a ring, like that. And now I've sort of got this idea of a set of 4 that way. Okay, so what will I do next? I'm thinking of them as a flat piece versus a bezel, but yeah, absolutely could bezel with them. So I'm just going to pop out some silver to use with this. Oh, I must be feeling flash. I'm using my silver-plated Miyuki beads for this one. They're the expensive ones. I tend not to use them for lots of things as an everyday bead, but for this, I will. So I've just picked up 3, and they're going to pop either side there of the demi round. So 3. Again, this is the beauty of a 2-hole bead, is that there's lots of ways to build on these. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think you could fill that channel really easily as well, Lynda. I think I'd be really interested to see what you've done. So make sure in the chat, post a pic of what it is that you've done with these groovy tile beads, because I haven't seen these before. This is a new one for me. I think there was a bigger version around a little while ago, but this is fun to be able to play with. And automatically I can see how there's options to build out that piece this way. But again, the beauty of using your demi round bead to be an anchor point and to be the filler bead means that I've got nice big holes Oh, it was sold off your bead mat before you got a photo. Gee, I've done that before myself, Lynda. But, well, maybe this might be some inspiration for people of how to use the groovy tile. Look at that. I've now created a really nice little cross piece. I'm going to go back up through the top there. There's also the fixer beads. Yeah, they give a different texture again, don't they? I've seen those used in the round to hold a cab in place as well. Okay, I'm just going to pull that a bit tighter. Okay. Did that go through that? I've caught that there. I've got a loop there. Just undo that. Am I going to make a bigger knot? No. Okay. So now I've got my nice little square here, like that. Again, you know, thinking about things that could go in the centre. Look at that. That nice little dome bead fits in the centre of that really well. One of these green beads here, that's probably the wrong colour. That's the wrong shape. But definitely that little dome bead fits right nicely in the centre of that piece as well. So again, you could make a whole section of these and create a bracelet. You know, it's that tile concept, but let's just keep going a little bit more with that. Now, I think I had 4 of these fire polishes, but I used one, so I now only have 3, so that's not going to work, but something like that could go over the edge. What else can I put over the edge? So we've got teacups are not going to work. Oh, no, look, I've got more. Oh, yay. I didn't get them all out before. Okay, so there's some more. So I'm just going to do the silver and then the fire polish and then the silver over the top of that. And this time I'm actually not going to go through the demi round. I'm just going to go straight through all the silver beads because I feel like that's just going to make that sit a bit better. Let me have a look how that looks. Yep, okay. So I've skipped over the demi. So silver, fire polish and silver. And I'm going to skip through all those, go through all those silver beads and just go over the demi like that. Okay, so silver, fire polish, silver, and go all the way through like that. And then I want to come back and add this into the centre somehow as well. Sorry, I'll just move that there. So you can see here, like, you know, it's just a matter of sitting and being creative with, you know, different beads. And again, I've sort of made that tile theme like I did earlier with the Paisley Peacock Tile Extravaganza. I'm looking forward to getting back and playing around a bit more with that one and seeing what comes of that with the ring. So this is a cool little component. You know, component beading is great fun for making earrings, necklaces, all sorts of different things. So I've used some, you know, pretty basic beads to build out these components. I'm going to come back to that demi round there. Okay, because I want to try and capture this little cab right in the middle somehow. So remember, these are 2-hole beads, so there's lots of things for me to attach onto. So I might pop a green and go through the hole, and then a green, come back through that demi round there. Let's see what happens when I do that. Yep, that's going to work. Okay, now I'm going to pick up another green and go back through that hole again. So that I've got, see now I've got the 2 either side. And then go through that demi round there as well. Because now I've now got 2 either side of that cab. So again, I'm going to come right back through to the other side of this here. Pick up a green, go through the hole there, go back to the other side, green, through the demi, green through the hole. You can see now that I've got the 2 beads either side of that dome, like that. Just needs a bit of pulling and prodding to get everything in place. Another green back through the demi. Just a matter of using the holes that are there to hold things in place. And those 2 little beads give the option to then build something else off the top of those. So if I come out of that one, I could go back and add a silver, and then add a silver. Go back through there, come up, add a silver, go through, and a silver. Let's see what that looks like when I tighten all of that up. Looks pretty good actually. So I've now got a really cool component with that sort of domed bead in the center. And again, because I've created 4 sides with this, this could be another piece that could be a box piece. You know, could create another, or a double actually, that might even be better. That'd be better. If I created it as double, I'd create another exact same piece, but I'd use the fire polish to actually join that and do a doubled piece with the groovy tiles. That's what I think I'll do. But that will be my job for this afternoon. So, bit of a recap. What have I done today? I've created 1 peacock earring using the dog bone method. So as I said, that's in my treble brilliance or sparkly studs tutorials. You can actually see that more fully, but really cool technique using demi rounds and size 8 beads. I've created the purple tiled peacock paisley ring crown, lid of a jar. I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to definitely play around with this concept because I'm pretty happy with how that's come together. And I think this has lots and lots of potential for what it could actually end up being. So watch out for that one. I've also created the dangled tassel. So we've got the lovely little crystal at the top of that. We've got the dome beads with the little nice cross feature, the dangle on the tassel. And then just quickly, I created a little component out of the groovy tile beads. So that's 4 pieces out of that package of beads that I received from Lynda. There's still more for me to play with there as well, but you can see there, you know, an hour and a half, hour and 37 minutes of beading is what I've actually created. I've still got a bit more there to think about. There's some teacups, some lentils, some petal beads, other bits and pieces for me to still play with, but I pretty much got through most of the things that Lynda provided. So I do hope that you enjoyed all of that. I'm just going to flip the camera. So thanks everybody. I hope you enjoyed that design on the fly with green theme. Green for me, there's predominantly green there. There's a little bit of purple in there too, some gold, some silver. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, this will be on YouTube if you want to come back and have a look at it at another point. Thanks again to Lynda, my fabulous supplier of beads, for this session today. And I hope you enjoyed it and look forward to seeing you all next time. My next session will be, I think it was the 17th of June, but I'm going to have to move that to possibly the Sunday because I am teaching that day now. And my next session, I think, is on bead embroidery basics, which, if you know me, you know how much I love bead embroidery. So I'll look forward to showing up for that session. Thanks, Shelley. Thanks, everybody, for coming along. And please use these techniques and create your own pieces. Bye for now.